Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be creating this login page in Figma. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with a frame. So I'm just going to click on F and I'm going to draw a frame. The link for this image is going to be in the description box below, so you can go ahead and check that out. The width for this frame should be 1440 and the height is going to be 960. Let's just change the fill to black, and I'm going to grab this image and I'm going to bring it into this frame, and I'm just going to reduce it so it fits within the frame and just sort of center it, let's say right around here. I'm just going to double click so I can crop the image to fit the dimensions of our frame like this, and then I'm going to close this. Next up is going to be a rectangle, so I'm just going to click on R and just sort of draw one here. The width of this rectangle is going to be 1030. Height is going to be 720. I'm going to add a stroke and I'm going to remove the fill. For the stroke of our rectangle, I want the width to be 10, and then we're going to select these individual strokes, select custom, and then for the left we're going to make it 0, for the right we're going to make it 0, and then let's go over to color 43 D5 A7. That's going to be the color for our rectangle. I'm just going to align it to the middle horizontal and horizontal centers of art. So we're just going to put it in the middle of our frame. Control D to duplicate the rectangle. Now we have two of these rectangles. Select rectangle 1, that's the one underneath. I'm going to go over to effects. We're going to add effects. The effect we want is layer blur, and we're going to go to blur and we're going to make the blur 10. I'm going to close it. Next, I'm going to insert another rectangle. I'm going to click on R and I'm just going to draw a rectangle. The width of this rectangle is going to be 960. Height is going to be 960. I'm going to change the color of this rectangle to black, and then rotation is going to be minus 45 or 45 degrees. So we're going to have this, and I'm just going to align it to the middle, to the horizontal and vertical center. So we're going to have this in the middle of our frame. We're going to insert yet another rectangle. So once again, I'm going to insert a rectangle. This rectangle width is going to be 1030 and height is going to be 720. And I can just align it once again, align it to the center, and let's add a stroke first. We can remove the fill. Let's change the color of the stroke to 43 D5 E7. Let's make the weight of this stroke 10, and let's select individual strokes, select custom. This time for top and bottom, make it 0, also 0. Control D to duplicate this new rectangle. Now we have 4 and 5. Select the one underneath, go over to effect, add effect, and then we're going to use a layer blur, and then blur is going to be 10. I'm going to close it and I'm going to get closer. Now we're going to add the contents of our form. I'm going to start with a text. So I'm just going to type log into your accounts. We're going to change the font to space grotesque, and the size is going to be 44, and the line height is going to be 56. I'm going to just bring it back here. Let me just grab a copy of this so I can reuse this text box. We're going to change the font to Inter. Size is going to be 18 and the line height is going to be 26. And I'm going to change this text to email address, and I'm going to create a rectangle. So just click on R and I'm just going to insert a rectangle. The width of this rectangle is going to be 600. Height is going to be 45. We're going to add a stroke, remove the fill, change the color of the stroke to 43D5A7, and weight is going to be 2. Let's select this rectangle and this text, make it an auto layout. The gap between two of them is going to be 15. I'm going to create a copy of this so that we can reuse it for the other field, which is password. I want to add an icon on this rectangle. So what I'm going to do is select this frame, Control and backspace to ungroup. We're going to recreate the frame, but just to make padding and all of that easier, we're just going to do this. Now, right click, go over to plugins. I'm going to use Iconify and I'm going to search for eye off. And I want to use the icon from, let's see, this one is the ion icons, I think. So I'm just going to, so I want to use, let me get closer. I want to use this one. So I'm just going to bring it into my frame, close it. We're going to change the fill. So go over to selection colors. I'm just going to use this eyedropper or color picker tool. And then I'm just going to use it to change the color instead of, having to type it in. And then I'm going to space this. I want to check the space between this. So currently, although it's aligned to the center, once it's 14 or 15 down, it's still the center. I want it to be 10 from the right. So I'm going to move it. Oops, not that. The icon. I'm going to move it so that it's 10 from the right of the rectangle. I'm going to zoom out, select just the rectangle and the icon, make it an auto layout, and then select this text and this rectangle, make it an auto layout. I'm going to come closer. We're going to insert another rectangle. So insert a rectangle. The dimensions for this rectangle is going to be 20 by 20. I'm going to add a stroke, remove the fill. For the stroke color, and just once again use this, going to use this eyedropper tool, or you could just select on this page, use this color. You can either select from that or just use the color that is on the page. Make the weight 2. Next up is going to be a text. I'm just going to type remember me. And this, the font is going to be Inter. Size is going to be 16 and the line height is going to be 22. And I'm just going to bring it here. Before I finish up, I'm just going to create a copy because I want to reuse this. Select this to make it an auto layout. We're going to change the alignment to center. Gap should be 10. I'm going to change the content of this text. So I'll bring it so that it's aligned to the end of this one. I probably have to move it again because I want to change the text. Forgot password. Yes, I'll have to move this, but select the text box, Control U to underline the text, and I'm going to realign it to the left. I just want to make sure. All right, now select that and this, make it an auto layout, and the alignment is center and it's also the spacing is auto. Select, let me bring this closer. Select this two make it an auto layout, and the gap is going to be 15. Select these two, make it an auto layout, and the gap is going to be 20. Next, let's now create our button. I'm going to create a text, and I'm just going to type in login, and the size of our text is going to be 20, and the line height is going to be 28. Make it an auto layout or a frame, and we're going to change the padding for the left and right to 60, and for the top and bottom it's going to be 8. I'm going to add a stroke to this, and the color of our stroke is, I'm just going to use this green color we've been using, change it to that. The weight is going to be 2. Let me close this so we can work on the final detail, which is another text. So text, this is going to be don't have an account, question mark, and then we're going to add sign in as an option. So highlight this sign in, go over to fill, and we're going to use this green color to for this sign in. I'm going to bring this closer, align it to this one, and then make it an auto layout, and the gap is going to be 10. Now I'm going to zoom out. We can now space out the content of this. So select this, this, and this. Make it an auto layout. The alignment should be center, and the gap is going to be 60 for these 3 different sections. That's the heading, the fields, and then this login button and the additional text. And then I'm just going to move it to this at the center of our frame. And yeah, that is what our login page looks like. We can go ahead and run this in the prototype view so we can see what it would look like. So this is what our form looks like, and yeah, that is it for this one. I'll always encourage you to treat these videos as blank slates and try different designs. Maybe you could try a different color background, or try a different image or color scheme, things like that. Well, anyway, that is it for this particular tutorial. If you want to watch longer content or much more complicated content for UI UX design in Figma, you can check out the description box below for the links to those videos or courses that are available on my channel, or you could click on the video on screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.